Yo guys, welcome to another one of my videos. My name is Vel, and I talk about the tips and tricks and methods and perceptions that have helped me in my existence, and hopefully through talking about what has helped me in my existence, I can help some of you out there on the other side of the screen learn more about yourselves and find your own way through life. I think today I'm going to be talking about one of the most, neglected topics in the self-help and self-realization space, and that is just simply the topic of socialization. I believe personally that one of the biggest points of development for myself has been to learn how to socialize, because I used to be very socially inept. As many of you may or may not know, I used to be an alcoholic, a drug addict, porn addict, all the frickin' addicts that you could possibly be, rolled into one. And in addition to that, because of the lack of connection that I had to myself, I also in turn became disconnected from other people. So, I found it very difficult, especially to converse with females. And in general, to be comfortable in my own skin enough to be in front of somebody else, because I was always looking to that other person to validate me and make me feel like I was worth something, But if you have your own inherent self-worth, your own center, then it doesn't matter how people react to you on the outside, you'll always be centered. This is very, very important, and I feel in the self-help space very neglected, because people really focus on like meditation techniques and breath work and all these methods of basically in a way you're isolating yourself in a lot of ways from people, to go inward and really do that inward work. But that's a very narrow way of looking at meditation, because I believe anything with enough consciousness brought to it can be a meditation. And socializing very much like that, because people are mirrors and they're going to be bringing out different sides of yourself. So it's almost like a turbocharged meditation in a lot of ways. If you meet a lot of people in a day, you can have a lot of realizations throughout the day, because the conversations that you're going to be having are going to be bringing out a different side of you. Someone might bring out something serious in you. Someone might bring out another more playful side in you. And someone may even, show you where you are disconnected from yourself. Or maybe you'll have a conversation that goes absolutely nowhere and the person doesn't want to talk to you and they reject you, and it may have something to do with your social skills and your energy, but in other cases, maybe you're just not supposed to connect with somebody. I've spoken to this before in a previous video. However, I do believe that it's an essential skill to work on, to be able to meet other people, people that you don't know on a daily basis, to expand your network. But not only just to expand your network, I believe that we should be able to have fun with our interactions. We can speak to people, and maybe it doesn't even need to go anywhere. Maybe you don't need to take their content. Maybe you don't need to start a relationship with them. Maybe it's just enough to have a short interaction. Both of you have a nice little laugh, or you share some information, and then you go on your merry way. Not everything has to have an outcome or a result or anything like that. You don't have to get anything from anyone. And I think that's why being able to have just a conversation with somebody is so important. An example of this is actually something that happened today. And I had a meeting with somebody that I met at work. I work in hospitality, so I'm constantly meeting new people. And so I'm growing my business on the side as well. So I like to meet people and then go and interact with these people on my own time, discussing with them the things that I want to achieve, and also just forming relationships with some of these people. Some people I meet once, other people we have repeated conversations after, And the objective of just starting a conversation with somebody is to get rid of that need to get something from those people. So after I was done with this meeting, I saw that there was an old couple next to me And they look nice enough, but I have been disappointed before in certain instances. But, I hadn't in a while started a conversation with somebody new just for the sake of starting a conversation. So I see these people and I think to myself, okay, let me just go up and speak to them. And obviously at first there's like, oh, why do I need to do that? All these different feelings come up, like, why do I need to waste my time? Why do I need to put myself out there? And then I just sit there and I remind myself that, it's just something to explore. I don't know what's going to happen when I speak to these people. You know what I mean? And it's just rewiring my brain, and I keep doing that. It's something I think you just got to keep working on, and just get rid of that idea of rejection being a bad thing, because I could have easily walked up to those people and they could have told me to get lost. Luckily, they didn't, and we had a lovely conversation. Found out, that the lady, she has a son who's the CEO of Sony in Miami. That's a possible contact for later on. They go to a local coffee shop here and there, and you never know, that could be a possible contact for later on. I didn't know that that's the information that I was going to come across, but and that's something maybe that I may explore later. But the objective wasn't that. The objective was to have just a nice, pleasant conversation, rewire my brain to remember that people are actually friendly, and if you live by that belief, then you shouldn't have the tension. You should be able to make the eye contact. You should be able to just act naturally in front of them, without, like pretending to be someone else to like gain their approval. Shrink yourself to get their approval. And it's just an amazing method of self-development. You do this 4 or 5 times a day. You get better at conversation. You get better at being yourself in front of different types of people, young, old, female, male, executives, people on the street. You just want to talk to everyone. I really believe that this is something sorely lacking in the world today, and this is why we're so disconnected from ourselves and disconnected from society. Some of you might, out there in the spiritual circles and all that, might be like, oh, this is like, let's disconnect from society, let's go inward. I'm not saying that there isn't a place for that, but I'm saying it shouldn't come at the cost of also participating in society. You have to be a part of society. You can't just opt out of the matrix like some of these people say. You're going to have to interact with other people. You're also going to have to be decent at interacting with other people so that you can get anywhere in this world, and also at the same time, not just get anywhere, but to also have a certain level of satisfaction. If you can't do anything that you want to immediately as you want to do it, if I can't go talk to a person that I see that I want to talk to and I can't do that immediately, that means on some level I have work to do on the inside. I should be able to speak to absolutely anyone and not have issues in doing so. And because of our use of technology and to communicate with people, we've lost that ability to have that conversation, that normal conversation in real life. We're communicating mostly through messages, and people have an ease of access to one another that stops them from that makes them take their connections for granted. Because back in the day, guys, if you wanted to go speak to someone, you'd actually have to travel to their place to speak to them, and then when the development of phones came along, you'd have to call them and actually have a conversation. And then as time went on, it became text messages, and you can message people whenever you like, and it doesn't cost any money to do so. At least phone calls still costed some investment, costed some money. And nowadays, we completely take it for granted. We think that people should you can just access people at the drop of a hat, and simultaneously it may have made us more connected in some ways, but in essence it's given I think, communication a level of superficiality that it didn't really have before, you know. And I think this even got worse during COVID. It absolutely got worse during the COVID epidemic, where people were just anxious, I think, and they didn't have to interact with anybody anymore. They would work from home or go to school from home. And now, when everyone's getting reintroduced back into society, I know several people suffer from horrible, horrible social anxiety. You know, and if I recall what I went through back in the day, that's a horrible place to be, guys. You should be comfortable in your own skin and be able to talk to anybody in person without any problem. And I truly believe that this is a skill that's going to become so invaluable within the next few days, or sorry, next few years, especially with the advent of AI, and they're talking about artificial general intelligence becoming a thing. So a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And I think the people who are going to be holding on to jobs are going to be people with interpersonal skills, because there's going to be a necessity for that very human element. And I think we're really going to have to approach this issue of disconnection, because it's going to get way worse. So interpersonal skills and interpersonal communication, I believe, are going to become very valuable, because it's going to be working with people that are going to be the jobs that remain, especially after the artificial intelligence and the computers take over. So I challenge you today, guys. Look at socializing as a form of meditation. Look at it as something that you're going to use for self-development, especially you guys out there, this self-help junkies and all this. Try this out, guys. Many guys online are talking about monk mode. You need to go completely into hiding for 6 months. I'm thinking to myself, I've done monk mode. That sounds really extreme. Maybe there's a necessity for it at some points, but it shouldn't be your base setting, guys, where you're working like 12 hours a day. Maybe there's people out there who genuinely enjoy doing that. But I find that find relationships to be the most amazing thing to cultivate, even in business, because you can meet people, and those people will completely change your life, whether it be in business, whether it be in friendship, relationships. People can just level you up so much faster than any other skill you can learn. If you want to learn skills as well, you can meet people, and those people may even teach you what they know for free. They may even mentor you for free. But just remember, that should never be your objective. Your objective should be to have fun with it. Go approach somebody today just for the hell of it. Just have a short conversation with them. Don't even take their contact, and just see where it goes. If that conversation lasts an hour, it lasts an hour. If that conversation lasts 2 to 3 minutes, it lasts 2 to 3 minutes. But at least it'll start to reprogram your brain from thinking that other people are dangerous, or like they're going to reject you, everything, into somebody who is like more used to talking to people. And it's fine to get rejected, guys. Rejection is part of existence. Don't think that everyone needs to understand you or connect to you. It is completely unnecessary, because some people you just wouldn't want to connect to in the long term anyways. So maybe they did you a favor by rejecting you. So you got to think of things that way. Rejection is you finding your tribe. Okay.
Yo guys, I gotta really remember to take off my cover and close all my background apps as well, because today is quite a warm day, so my phone actually overheated. So cut me off from my camera. But as I was saying, guys, rejection is you finding your own tribe at the end of the day. And yes, at first you may be getting rejected because your social skills are not up to par. Okay, and that's going to be something you have to go through, and you've got to be honest with yourself about. Did the person reject me, or did they reject the way that I was acting at the time? That's a good reframe for rejection. They don't know you. People out there don't know who you are. and they are, you're going to need to actually prove to them that you're not some weirdo or creep. Especially to girls, a lot of women just immediately think a weirdo or creep when a guy approaches them because so many men are socially inept out there. But I really wanted to share this with you because for me it has been one of the greatest um, sources of my self-development, guys. And I couldn't make eye contact with people on the street before. I was so afraid of looking at people and wondering what people thought about me. And I started off slow. I started by walking on the street and making eye contact with 20 people every single day. Okay, not every single day. Sometimes I did it with 5. Sometimes I did it with 10. Sometimes I did it with more than 20 people. And it was just simply I was not allowed to turn away first. I had to simply stare people down. So if you're really, really socially anxious, that's just some place you can start. You don't even have to open your mouth and say hi to somebody yet. But even if you're not socially anxious, guys, people have these limiting beliefs around where they can meet somebody. I have to meet someone at a bar, or I have to meet somebody at a club, but I can't meet somebody on the street or at a coffee shop. And honestly, just try it out. Meet somebody where you normally wouldn't meet them. Go up and say hi to somebody where you normally wouldn't go and say hi to somebody. And just watch your life change. You'll get to know so much about yourself. You'll get to really work on those social skills and become the person who, for people, it's just easy to meet. And that's another thing to discuss, guys. Again, with anything that I talk about, you should be becoming that person before you go up to somebody. Instead of making it a big deal, instead of getting stressed, instead of starting to change your breathing and the way that you move, just put yourself in the frame of mind of how would I be feeling if this was easy? How would I be feeling if I was the social person? And don't turn to me and say, oh, I'm an introvert and all this. Guys, I'm an introvert. My primary program is introverted programming, but I have been able to nurture in myself a social being because we are social beings. That is who we are, and we cannot neglect that part of ourselves. We cannot neglect the fact that there is a society around us. We can't just opt out of society. We have to learn how to interact with it. We need to learn how to work with society. And more important, we need to be free and have fun. If you can't go talk to somebody that you want to meet, that means that you're not free. That means you're not free. In any situation, you should be able to go say hi. Even if that person ends up not wanting to talk back to you, at least you can say that you did it. I live by one principle when it comes to socializing, and that once I've said hi, I've already won. Anything that comes after is a bonus. And more people, I think, need to be looking at life in that respect. Anything after you take that first step is a bonus. So today, guys, I challenge you, go out there and say hi to someone for the first time. Go say hi to someone you normally not say hi to. Or maybe there's somebody you really want to meet and you just haven't had the guts to go up to them and say something. Maybe it's not just a complete stranger. But go out there. See how quickly your life changes. See how quickly your life changes. I think this is the primary problem affecting most of society today. We do not know how to communicate. We do not know how to talk to one another. All the phones, all the gadgets, they may have given us this illusion of connection, but in actual fact we've become more disconnected from ourselves, more disconnected from other people. And this is one of the primary things that causes all the issues that we have in society today. Help me change society, guys. Go out there, connect with somebody. Remember, it doesn't have to go anywhere. Just have fun with it. Go out there and live a freer existence. I'll see you in the next video.